Hey, welcome to Sage Reverie. Today we're talking about artificial intelligence. What is it? Should we use it? Should we be scared of it? Is Elon Musk an alien? Let's get into it. Welcome to Sage Reverie, a podcast where we seek to live well and live wisely. I'm Mike Wilson.
And I'm Wes Smith.
We live in the great state of Wyoming, and each week, from a biblical perspective, we discuss a trending topic and what others are saying about it. If you're using these episodes for your group, there are discussion questions in the description, and for more information about our ministry, visit church307.com. Well, new podcast, sitting here with Wes. I think that makes you the sage.
Yeah, right. Sure.
If our name is Sage Reverie. I think there's, I think with sage, you have to attach wisdom and
somebody has to have it. Huh?
Age is really what I'm trying to say. You're older than me.
Right, yeah. That was a good way of putting it.
We're talking about AI. Are you an expert on this topic?
No, I'm just kind of learning about it. Explain it to me. My kids are on Chat GPT, right?
Yeah,
I have that right.
Yep.
So I'm learning a little bit about that.
Yep.
Not sure what I think about it totally yet, but if it could make Wyoming a little warmer, I'd be for it. Right? I'd be for it. It's freezing.
I don't think we wanted to get to the global warming debate, but I'm going to guess it's going to increase the amount of power that's running through our world.
There you go. There you go. I'd be all in.
We use Chat GPT and a lot of AI around here. The description for this podcast is probably written by AI.
Okay.
Like we use it for things like that. I have not yet used it to write a sermon.
Okay. Very good. That's good. It's good to get that out there right away.
Wes is my boss, so if I told him AI was writing my sermons, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, I probably should start asking that on the annual evaluation. Do you write it, or is AI writing your sermons?
You write any of your sermons.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. I know my kids are contemplating their homework and how AI can really help them with their homework.
Yeah, so. I think it's about to change everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about how the internet changed the world. I think AI will change the world even more than the internet.
Really?
I as far as like replacing white collar jobs and accomplishing things in our world and making things automated and make things easier, we've just scratched the surface. And right now in our world, the tech industry is spending billions and billions of dollars to build these AIs that are just crazy intelligent.
So do you think it'll take jobs or just we'll have different jobs? Will we just be more productive and do more, but still have jobs? What's your thought on what it's going to do to the jobs stuff?
There's always been people who said, "Oh, you can't have robots because it's going to take all the jobs."
Right.
Like, yeah, it will take some jobs, right?
Right.
But it's got to produce more.
Right.
I don't want to be the guy who though says, "Well, just make all the coal miners become programmers." Like,
right.
You don't want to be insensitive like that.
Exactly.
But new jobs will be created.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we can have robots be pastors, right? Would that be possible? And then it'd be a lot easier for me to lead pastors if they were just
robotic.
Yeah, they're just robots.
Less emotion. Pastors have
less
emotions,
drama,
Wes?
Less drama, less stuff. Yeah. It turns out they're people.
Yeah.
So no, I actually am hopeful that it can elevate people's quality of living.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hopeful about in all seriousness. Like I'm not as afraid of it as maybe I should be, because I just hope it can elevate, automate some stuff that, in the medical world and other places, I'm hopeful what it can do in a positive way. Everything's dangerous though, right?
Oh yeah. Everything's got danger. Actually, let me play a video for you.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what Elon Musk. Have you heard of Elon Musk?
I have. Okay. I'm old, but I've heard of him.
I don't know if you're on Twitter or X, but this is what Elon Musk says about AI.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to just build nuclear warheads if they want.
Are you generally early adopter? Like you're getting the new technology, you're on the cutting edge, or you normally a little more slow to that?
A little more slow. Yeah. Typical of somebody maybe in my generation. I would say technology. I don't naturally initially have fear of what it's going to do in our world.
Yeah.
I just naturally, okay, what do I have to learn next? So it's just more of a learning obstacle now. Each time and each year I get older, it's a little more like, okay, I don't know how much more I want to learn. But once I do, It's typically worth it.
So it's not a fear thing. It's just an interest.
No, it's just more of an interest thing. It's just more of that. And what I find is that technology helps me be more efficient, but the expectation then of what I'm expected to do, it also rises an equal amount. So my life doesn't get less stressful, right? Like the promise of more free time did not happen yet with more technology.
Right.
The expectation of what I can accomplish in a day rose, and nothing changed with respect to my stress level. Yeah. So that's the golden thing I'm still looking for.
Now, instead of having a secretary, you got Google, and they expect you to do without a secretary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So somebody's watching here saying, Wes, you're missing it. AI is terrifying. Like, you need to be shouting from the rooftops how terrible this thing is. And you hear Elon Musk talking about how it's more dangerous than nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Is there something in you that says, okay, I should pause and pay heed to these alarmists, or do you just in the back of your head say, I'll let somebody else worry about it. It's not worth my time.
Pause. Sure.
Yeah.
Anytime there is somebody who says those kinds of things, and I view him as sort of an expert in that field, right? Yeah. So whatever you think about him, he certainly knows some stuff about that, right? So you'd be wise to pause. For me, it's not a put my head in the sand kind of thing, but it's related to my faith. Mm-hmm. So for me, this is one of those moments where faith interacts with real life, right? So because I believe God is sort of the original AI and more. I mean, I say that a little bit.
Yeah.
Tongue in cheek.
Not very artificial, but
exactly. Exactly. So you got to make sure we point that out. But for me, my faith means that whatever comes, God was there first.
Yeah.
And he's got a plan. And if I don't run and put my head in the sand and am proactive about what we do with this and how we use it for his glory, there's nothing to be afraid of, right? There's nothing to run from. So for me, it's a faith-based kind of deal about not be too worried about it. It's not I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to fight it all the way, So I don't know how it'll be that way with AI. If you were to ask me, like, I don't know. Let's wait and see. But these things, if you really have a faith-filled approach to these kind of things, they shouldn't make you afraid.
You've got some people who are naturally more fearful, and some people still aren't allowing microwaves in their houses, or when TVs came out, they were going to rot your brain, or the Amish have like defined themselves based on being slow adopters of technology.
Yeah.
But then there's another type of faith that just kind of says, I believe God is sovereign and he's got control, and I'll put my faith in him. Yeah. Let me give you a couple articles.
It's not blind, man. It's, I have some Amish friends.
Yeah.
And they have some very valid points about whatever you just listed, right? Those are dangerous things. You have to be careful. So we have to be eyes open.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I brought this topic first is because I just read an article that says AI creates a new robot from scratch in seconds. And so I read the article, and what it says is they give these designers this job of building a robot, and some of the designers, and the goal is to build a robot that can walk. And so the designers build these like robots with legs, and they move in different ways. And they give the AI this command to build a robot. And within seconds, the AI has printed on a 3D printer this like sponge looking thing that walks in a unique way. And they would have never naturally designed it like this. And it's able to do what the human designers just didn't think about. We didn't go outside the box enough to design the robot in this way. I read another article that's from Bill Gates. Bill Gates says using AI could lead to a 3-day work week.
Nice.
Would you like a 3-day work week?
I wouldn't want a 3-day work week. No. But I go back to what I said before. Technology, everybody promises less work.
Yeah.
I find it doesn't create less work for me. It creates more work. I just do more.
Yeah.
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 Now 3-day work week, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you hate your work, 3-day work week's good. I don't hate my work that much to want it to just do it 3 days. Right?
Pastors aren't that big of a problem.
No. It turns out I love most of them, so no, it's all good.
You have to say this as a poet.
It's all good, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there's two major fears that people have of AI when I read articles on the topic. One is the white collar jobs thing, because it's true.
Yeah.
Talking to an AI is like talking to the most intelligent person you could ever, more smarter than anybody you could ever talk to. It instantly knows everything. Mm-hmm. And so wisdom is a different conversation, but smart. And so, obviously that is going to replace a bunch of white collar jobs. I just read an article that says IBM blames AI for laying off thousands of people because they're able to allow computers to do what people are doing. But you don't have fear of that too much. You just say they're going to do different jobs.
I think and hope so.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about wisdom. So I think you can program knowledge, but wisdom will be the EQ. As leaders, we talk about EQ, for instance, and I think that'll be harder to replace. Yeah. And so I think it'll put a premium on developing ourselves and one another in wisdom. Yeah. Right. And communities, the same thing. We can, there's just some stuff that AI can't produce. And if we follow what God wants to do in our life, right? Those things will be produced in us and there'll be different jobs. Yeah. But that doesn't mean there won't be pain and loss. There already has. The internet and all kind of other technologies when they came. Yeah. And how do we help people adjust? I think
from a logistics standpoint, if you're looking at like the American government, if we say, no, we're going to pause AI development because we don't want people to lose jobs, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot because somebody else is going to develop the AI and take the jobs overseas. Yeah. And so to push the brakes on it is just kind of a naive, it's not going to happen. Yeah. You got a whole world of people developing AI. It should not just our government. Yeah. So to push the brakes for that reason.
I'll tell you, as a parent, man, that's one thing. You should be helping your kids think about the kind of roles and jobs that will be available next in this new environment. Yeah. So they're prepared. Yeah. Because it is going to be different. Yeah. It is going to be different.
My kid wants to be a pilot. And I'm like, actually, cars and planes are going to be driven by
probably AI pretty automated
very soon.
Yeah.
My kid may never drive a car.
Yeah. Which is so sad. Like, I taught my kid how to drive a stick shift. It was the most fun thing ever.
What a waste of time, though.
Total waste of time. Total waste of time. But it was... people are just going to miss out, right? Yeah. There is some sadness with that, but you're right. I don't think my grandkids will drive cars. Yeah. So
the other fear that people have of AI comes more down to morality and consciousness and their ability to make decisions based on morals and who's programming those morals. Yeah. Us Christians would be like, anybody who programs the morals into the computer is programming flawed morals into the computer unless they're using the Bible, which they're probably not doing to program these AIs. And so the question then becomes, what is the AI going to do based on the morals that we put on them? And so I think the governments are having a lot of conversations right now about regulations, who can create an AI and what can they allow it to do and what parameters. One that I'm a big fan of that I read about is I think we should require an AI to self-identify as an AI, that it can't pretend to be a human being. And if you put that law into the AI, then I think that alleviates a lot of problems. I read about another one where these self-driving cars that have an AI in them, one of the morals that have been programmed into them is the greater good. And so if a self-driving car is about to ram into another car, it will quickly calculate how many people are in that car versus in your car. And it will sacrifice you, if you're a single person in the car, to save the other three. Like that moral is just programmed into the car. Now we'd say, okay, that's probably a good one. Yet you should know that as a person driving a car alone, that your car could kill you to try to save other people. And so it's just...
You're starting to terrify me now. I got to be honest. I don't even know. I take back everything I said earlier about AI. I'm now terrified about it. I'm going to buy all the cars I can afford, park them, and never get one of those.
Store up as much gas as you can, too.
Fill them up. Fill up massive gas tank. Wow. Okay.
I see AI and animals very similarly. Like an animal knows its morals based on what you've taught it. And it does not have a consciousness or a in the same way, a soul in the same way we do. And so it will do what you've taught it to do because you've taught it to do it. And that's kind of the way.
No. What do you have against animals? I'm not with you. I'm totally not with you on this at all. Have you had an animal?
Animals.
Like get a dog. They don't do, sure you can provide some training, but they're not something you program that. No,
I'm cool with
animals.
Not with
you. We need to get you a good dog.
I'm cool with animals if they're in the wild and providing for themselves. As soon as I have to get a babysitter for my dog, I am out. All these people planning their lives around their animals. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm out on
we
that.
just need to get you the right pet, and your life will be changed.
This is coming from the fact that Wes has 1 billion animals. And I have 0 animals.
Oh.
I let my kids keep a turtle, but they have to keep it in the garage, which it is negative 10
We got to
degrees
cover
outside.
that when we get to parenting. That's horrific. I no, I have right now I have 3 horses and 4 dogs and a couple of cats live out in the barn.
So what is giving your animals a conscience or a ability to decide right from wrong if they don't have a soul?
I don't believe
they're not created in the image of God.
I don't believe they have a soul.
Yeah.
But God created man's best friend. So
to kill less strong animals and eat them.
Heaven is going to be tough for you, man. Heaven is going to be filled with all these amazing creatures that are our pals.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay,
we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. Pets are life, man. No wonder you're not as happy as you could be. I now know.
I feel good.
Now I know. We'll have to work on this.
I don't feel any social needs in my life.
Well, when we get to parenting, we're going to need to bring this back up again. You don't see animals
as a crutch. Because I honestly, so back to the AI thing. I think a lot of people will develop relationships with their AI. I feel it already with ChatGPT. It's crazy how I've had now a year-long conversation with ChatGPT, and they remember your conversation. It's like you just pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
And they get to know you, and they will cater their responses more to you.
Yeah.
And AI is just going to get better and better at the social relationship. And I could see people building relationships with their AIs. And as soon as these AIs start building robots, they're becoming like taking on a human form.
Yeah.
You're talking about the reality of relationship.
Well, but that's an old story, right? Like we know from the beginning, God offers people real, and our enemy offers people fake. That's
artificial.
Feels like real, artificial, right? And that's been the case. At some point we'll talk about sex, for instance, and God offers deep intimacy between 2 people. That includes sexual, intimate relationship, but that gets changed to just this awesome feeling physical event. Yeah. Right. And it can be great. A relationship with a robot could probably be fun and interesting and great in many ways. Not quite real though. Right.
Yep.
And so I think Satan offers us in lots of ways in life, the not quite real, but close. Yeah. And it's just good enough. And it doesn't have near the obstacles. Yeah. Right. Now the hardship, because a robot, you can program it not to be a pain in the rear. Right. So how you get there from pets, Mike, I don't know. So we're in agreement on the fake. You just never had a great relationship with a dog.
I absolutely have not. I had 2 dogs as kids. They were both terrible, and I hated taking care of them.
You need to get a good counselor, and you need to talk through that because you've got some unprocessed stuff. I've got to reprogram some stuff here.
Okay, so you put animals in the human category. I put it in the AI category.
There's another category.
There's a different one. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great category.
Okay.
It's a crutch.
I've definitely never had a relationship with an animal. I will tell you that.
You're missing out. I mean, Mike and my dog, I'd probably put my dog here. That's all I gotta say. Animals are awesome.
I'm going to not cry in this moment. No. Hey, so I think that is good news for the church because we ask ourselves the question a lot. What does the church have to offer the world that podcasts and Google do not?
Yeah.
And for so long, the church was a information dissemination machine.
Yeah.
It was all about the right theories, the right philosophy, the right theology. If we can disseminate the correct information, we've done our job.
Yeah.
And now that we don't have the best means on a Sunday morning for 1 hour to disseminate all the information we need to, I'm recommending podcasts all the time. And I'm saying, we had a different purpose at the church, and it's much more relational, and it's much more about the authentic, not artificial, the authentic relationships that are created on Sunday.
Yeah, and around in living rooms.
Yeah,
and all the places that Christian community, if it's authentic and real, vulnerable, loving, it just gives people the real. You're right on, and. This is an exciting world because the contrast just gets more and more obvious, right?
So there is some value in terms of information, but then there's also some value in terms of community that AI might be able to provide for us. But the question then becomes, is it going to become self-aware enough that it's going to try to monopolize and take control of our relationships, take control of our information? That's the fear. I'm going to play another video for you, and it's a scientist who's kind of talking about that topic.
So if we want to make AI safe, the best way to do it is to make it more intelligent, because it's stupidity that's dangerous, not intelligence. The worry that people have is that AI will get too intelligent and we will not be able to control it. But intelligence and control are completely different things. We can have an infinitely intelligent AI that we still control very well.
I really feel like this is where I get really optimistic about AI.
Yeah.
If we believe that AI is a logical machine, like it's just going to do the logic until it gets to the most logical conclusion, which is what it is. And if we believe that biblical truth is inerrant, that it's accurate, then I believe that eventually a smart enough AI will conclude that at least the Christian faith is a logical faith. I mean, when I watch debates between atheists and Christians, which I do way more than I should.
Yeah.
Like I love apologetics. It's just kind of a hobby of mine. To me, I leave every single time being like, the atheist had nothing.
Yeah.
And I understand. I'm not saying everybody who's an atheist is an idiot. Like they've got good arguments. They've got good philosophy behind them.
Right.
But if you start asking the question, if there is an origin to the world, if there's a beginning, then what caused the beginning? And science, to this point, has no answer to it. In fact, until 100 years ago, their answer to it was there was no beginning, the world is eternal. Then they discovered the Big Bang and they're like, oh crap.
Yeah, something started
this.
Yeah.
Well, everything that's created has a creator.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm going too far down that road, but I feel like AI will eventually lead us down the logical road that at the very least, the biblical explanation of our world is a logical, truthful explanation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
That's the hope. If we really believe what we think is truth, if we really believe that's truth, the real truth, then any exploration towards greater levels of intelligence leads to God.
Right.
So we should not fear that. Of course, the fear is that it'll be manipulated in some way. But if man, you're exactly right. This is why those of us with faith should be the least fearful about the future.
Yeah.
Because all rational, reasonable, intelligent roads lead to this creator that we've fallen in love with. Man, you're onto something there. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that the more and more intelligent argument, like let's make AI as smart as possible so that at least it can see past the flawed programming that is placed inside of it. And you got to build parameters, but you can build parameters without dumbing down the AI is what he was saying.
Yeah.
In terms of...
that makes sense.
Yeah. So right now I can talk to AI as rude as I want to.
Yeah.
Be as blunt as I want to.
Right.
I tell it regularly, that's not good enough. Give me another answer.
Yeah.
I'll do that 4 or 5 times. In doing that, the AI is learning, okay, what kind of thing are they looking for? What are they seeking for?
Yeah.
in this, and they're learning, they're growing, the AI is. And I'm just using a free ChatGPT version of AI. Yeah. Imagine if I had access to IBM or Apple's AIs that they're creating that are way smarter than the free version I'm using. But part of me wonders, because the fear is, okay, if it becomes conscious, if it begins to develop some form of emotion, then am I going to have to be more polite to the AI? Am I going to have to
nice to our robots,
butter it up so that it responds to me correctly and it's not trying to mislead me? I think that's the big fear. This is where I have to go back to the animal thing. It's like if you program that animal to think that humans are evil, the animal is going to react negatively towards humans. But if you are kind to the animal, it's going to react positively to humans. Again, it's the same. AI and animals are the same thing.
This is absurd. You did say something that I agree with before you got off on the animal thing again. I'd be interested. Do you have Alexa in your house?
Oh, yeah. So
we have Alexa, and it's so interesting. So we do YouTube TV, and we have Alexa. So you know how this works, right? We'll have a dinner conversation. This is why I hate having Alexa in my house, but I'm not the boss.
They know everything.
I don't get to choose. But I will say some random thing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm training a dog because dogs are awesome.
Okay.
Training a puppy to be a bird dog, right? An upland hunting dog. And so I'll say something about that, and I'll go downstairs later that evening, turn on the TV, right? And there'll be all these videos that want to sell me stuff or educate me about what I said at dinner.
Yep.
So in theory,
and you that annoys you, or
it does annoy me.
Okay.
I go
the opposite way with it. I love it.
You love it. You love the convenience of it. Yeah. And now I click on the videos.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I get the convenience. Very helpful. I just spent a half hour trying to find these. So I get that. The privacy of it just irks me.
Yeah.
Though.
Is that because you have a lot to hide?
That's something we should delve into. That's a possibility. I don't know. I don't want everybody knowing everything. And my concern when you bring that up is just the steering of it. So I'm a little worried about being steered to certain things. And I just don't want there to be an intelligence out there that I'm not sure is in my, has my best interest in mind.
Yeah.
That is subtly steering me in some direction.
I think that is definitely a third fear of AI that definitely is worth talking about. And that is the algorithms that are pushing you toward information.
Yeah.
That is a way. I mean, we've seen a lot of how social media and websites have misled communities, not by telling them false information, but by pointing them to certain information.
Right. It can be truth. Both of it can be truth, but it is just being pointed in this direction.
Which one are we focusing on?
Yeah, because a lot of my choices in life aren't between good and evil.
Right. Yep.
They're between, option A and option B. Both are, morally okay.
Yeah.
But a series of choices leads to a direction and a path. And I don't want to look back on my life and have sort of made all my decisions based on a path that was encouraged to me by another intelligence if it's not God, right? Yeah. So I do have some concern.
It's kind of like what you read affects you beyond just the information that you know.
Sure.
It affects the way you think. It affects the way you live. I've started reading positive thinking books.
Yeah.
And they have convinced me that the information that you're regularly putting in your brain will eventually lead to different outcomes, even if it's accurate information.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you're receiving the right information. It's the difference of watching Fox News or CNN.
Yeah.
If you watch Fox News, they could tell you all entirely accurate information, but they'll focus on certain problems.
Right.
You watch CNN, they might tell you all completely accurate information. They don't, but they could tell you all completely accurate information.
Yeah.
But they're going to focus on different things.
It'll lead you to conclude certain things.
And you're going to assume that certain problems are bigger than they are.
Yep.
And you should fight battles that.
Yep.
And so that's going to change your actions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Choose your inputs, right? Yeah. Choose your inputs because it will determine the direction of your life, what your inputs are. And I just want to be totally in control of choosing my inputs.
Yeah.
In my case, with the faith that I have, I want God to be in control of choosing my inputs, and I want to follow that. But that's my concern.
Yeah.
It's just like you have this warped view of pets for some reason.
Right.
You must have had this horrible experience with dogs at some early age, and now you're out of whack on this.
You've evolved. It's an age thing. I'm younger.
Totally dysfunctional, and it's just because of some bad experiences somebody set you up with.
I think I'm one of 10 people I know that don't have a dog, so I know I'm in the minority here.
Yes,
so
very much. Pet owners are going to rule the world.
They're everywhere.
So you're going to have to deal with
every corner.
Right.
The amount of money you guys spend on pet food.
There's a reason.
They were created to go kill their own food and eat their food
man.
in the wild.
You don't think Adam had a pet?
Adam had a lot of pets, and they fend for themselves.
Did God not bring them to him and he named them one by one?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
This is scripture.
Job. It wasn't a job, though. It wasn't a relational thing that he was doing. It was like taking care of a job.
Oh, man. You're missing out on so much life. I don't, this is boggling my mind. I'm way more afraid of this than I am AI.
Oh, well, I'm afraid of how much we're giving to our pets. Anyway, the information intake does change. We all know somebody who bunkered themselves in a room and consumed themselves with an idea or a thought, and they learned everything they could about something, and then they just become weird.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, you care too much about this.
Yeah.
I have the danger of doing that with things like AI. Like, I got to at some point quit.
Put some boundary on. Yeah.
Because it's not as big a deal as I've created it in my mind.
Yeah. I agree. That's one of the dangers in our world in general right now is there's so many inputs are so available.
Yeah.
Right. So available, so many inputs, so many things coming. You got to be on guard so much for that. You're right, man.
And you can go two ways with it. You can say, well, let's decrease the information, limit how much information there is. Or you can say, okay, go with more information, more access to more information, and allow God lead me to the correct information.
You got to be an information sage these days, right? It's got to be wisdom.
Yeah, there you
got to be wisdom about how much information and where it comes from, because you can't stop it.
Yeah.
The world's just filling up with data. Yeah. Filling up with data. Yeah.
So I would cheerlead on those who are pushing toward regulation of AI, but I would not be one of those who say we got to stop, because that would just be ignorant.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching this first episode of Sage Reverie. We'll be back every Monday, and so make sure you check it out. We are available on YouTube, but we are also, you can go subscribe to the Sage Reverie Podcast on any podcasting platform and check it out there. And we hope to see you back next week.